Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 125 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 125 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us this week. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep, and I am so grateful that you are back another week with us. Before we dive into this week's episode, I always like to make sure that I'm extremely foundational. I want to make sure that we are setting up this safe space, this house, on two really important things, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just want to make sure that you understand that the Well Done Life podcast is a podcast that I created for women. I really feel like women are the foundation of society. And I also feel like we need places where we can be our most authentic self, where we can talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We can shed tears. We can laugh. We can do it all so that we are inspiring and growing together. So welcome. That is what this space is all about. And then that leads me into my favorite thing, because love is always going to be my favorite thing, because love is the thing. And everything that we will do in this space is created and rooted in love. So I always like to make sure that when I start an episode off, that I show love to you by sending you prayers. I really feel like a lot of us need to pray for each other a lot more. And I want to make sure that you understand how personal you are to me, how much I hold you in high regard. So I like to make sure that I send you prayers. So this week, I am sending you prayers of softness. Yes, we are going to send prayers of softness this week because we are talking about finding and embracing softness. I want to make sure that I'm sending you prayers of softness. I'm sending you prayers of softness in the sense that I want you to not feel pressured to be everything to everybody. I want you to feel that you are in a place where you are able to receive love on all levels. I'm talking about reciprocal love from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I want you to feel that you don't have to take on everybody's problems, everybody's burdens. You don't have to work yourself into the ground. You can take time away for yourself. You can focus on what matters to you and dial back into who you are, because softness is very powerful, not in the sense that it's just about spas and relaxation and all those things. Those are parts of it. But I'm talking about when you are embracing softness, relationships can grow. Because you're not fighting each other. You're not leaning so heavy on trying to control every situation. You are comfortable in who you are. You're cozy in who you are. And that coziness radiates off you and attracts the right type of energy to you. So I am truly praying softness over you. I am also praying abundance. And I believe that abundance is not just from a financial standpoint. Obviously, I'm definitely praying that you are financially abundant so that you can be a blessing to yourself and other people. But I'm also praying that you are emotionally abundant, that you are able to have all of the love inside of you that you need to make yourself feel safe and secure so that you can radiate it back out and help somebody else who might be struggling. Because when you are abundant in your soul and your spirit, you're able to lean into empathy. You're able to lean into grace. You're able to lean into all of the things that will make you grow and make other people grow, because that's what we do in this life. That is our rent for the space that we rent in our bodies. We should be abundant and giving and caring and empathetic and loving to other people. So I am sending you prayers of abundance. And I'm also sending you prayers of health. And I'm talking about mental and physical health. It is challenging out here. We are going into, rapidly too, the last quarter of 2022, and things are moving very quickly. I want to make sure that you are prioritizing your health mentally and physically. You need to take care of you. There's only one you. And you need to be at the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. It's not about physical aesthetics. It's not about looking sexy to other people. It's about feeling good to yourself. It's about loving the skin that you are in, because again, that all feeds into your journey to a well-done life. So I hope that you will accept my prayers this week, and I hope that they will help you get a fraction of the feeling, the care, how personal, like I mentioned earlier, that you are to me. This week, I am very excited for us to be back. We are going back into our episodes of our Fall Into Self series. Last week, we did a heavier episode. It was on generational trauma. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to it, I am going to make sure that I link it in the show notes. But it was a really good conversation because we were able to get deep about some of the things that we are living through in relation to our generational traumas. Because as you're on the journey to living your well-done life, living your best life, you have to heal some of the things that you don't reveal. You have to look at the past and decide how you're going to move through it. And it's not easy. And we shared our journeys because we wanted you to understand that you're not alone, that there are many of us who are undergoing or living through many challenges that we have faced in our past that have shaped us into the people that we are right now. But we have found a way to move through that, and that you can also do that as well. So I definitely invite you to listen to that episode. That was just part 1. We will be regrouping for part 2, which I'm very excited about because I want to make sure that I put a bow on that. It's not like you can just wrap trauma into one episode, but I want us to make sure that we are giving you not just the trauma, we are giving you the healing, and we're giving you the vulnerability and the honesty that it takes to be able to do that work, because that is important work, especially as you are on the journey to embracing softness and next levels in your life. So I definitely will welcome you to listen to that episode. Like I said, it will be in the show notes. But this week, we are continuing on with episode 5, and we are talking about finding embracing softness, like I mentioned. And softness is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But for us, we wanted to share our journeys to softness because hopefully we will inspire you to have these conversations with your friends, these thoughts with yourself, and prepare you for the soft journey, because everybody deserves an opportunity to live a soft life. And it's not necessarily a life that requires you to be financially abundant, because remember, I'm still wishing that for you, and I know we're all on the journey to that. But softness can be the little things that we do for each other, the little things that we do for ourselves that just help us embrace a more relaxed mindset. So I am very excited this week to be able to welcome my co-host, Diaz, back. Crissy, I've missed you. I am so grateful that you were able to come on. We're also welcoming some other amazing queens to the podcast this week, Dr. Shalonna Battle and Kathleen Daniels. Both of them have been on the podcast before, and they are like family as well. And we had a really good conversation. So if you will just grab a drink of water, relax, sit back, and enjoy, we will be with you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, y'all? So sorry I missed last week. I'm so sad. That was like my baby topic.
But we had a part 2 for that coming, so you'll be back in that episode.
Yes, I'm very happy that everyone enjoyed that conversation. I have yet to listen to it just because I'm getting over this cold. My grandfather passed, so we're just like dealing with a lot right now. But Crissy here, foodie, mental health advocate, and just happy to be back.
Well, we are happy to have you, and sending healing energy and prayers to you and your family, because it's a lot and you're powering through. So I thank you. So why don't we kick it to our other 2 wonderful guests as well? I'm just going to kick to the first person I see, and that is the lovely Dr. Shalonna. This must be Mercury retrograde trying to play, but it's not going to work today. We're going to get it through. Right. Shalonna is going to come in. So don't worry, Dr. Battle. I'm going to come back to you. Get your stuff. Tell me when you feel solid, and we'll come back to you. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Miss Kathleen Daniels. Mrs. Daniels, will you introduce yourself to the Well Done Life audience again, please?
Absolutely. Hey, everybody. I am so honored to be back, to be a part of this episode on the Well Done Life podcast. My name is Kathleen Daniels. I reside here in Central Florida, and I am a connoisseur of all things that are luxurious, all things that are soft, all things that are just all about love and self-care. So I'm super excited to jump into this episode and just share some personal experiences that I've had, as well as hear from the other ladies on the podcast as well. So thank you again for having me, Pam and Crissy. I look forward to the conversation.
It's our pleasure. And yeah, she's like the quintessential queen of softness and nice things. So I'm expecting some really good insight from her. Now, Dr. Battle, how are you feeling over there? You back?
Can everyone hear me? Check one, check two.
Yes.
Microphone check.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm Dr. Shalonna Battle, and as I was saying before, embracing softness is something that I'm just now coming to terms with and being comfortable with embracing. So I'm excited to be here to talk about this topic. I am a women's health nurse practitioner, a women's health advocate, also a mental health advocate. So all of this stuff is right up my alley. I live in sunny South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. And I've been graced to be on Pamela's podcast before, and she was on my podcast. And so I just kind of love just being here and being in your presence. And and just talking about a great topic with you ladies.
Well, thank you. We're just so glad that you are here with us, and you are just such a light. All of you are. So I'm just excited because I could use some reminders about softness right about now. This is like my soft era. So as we are all trying to claim into our softness, that makes me think of our first question. And feel free to obviously chime in whenever you want to, but how do you define softness? Because I think that we have to define it for, each of us before we kind of look at how to embrace it. So whoever wants to start it off, let's talk about it. How do you define it? Okay, I'm going to pick on Shalonna. Since you're like right here on my screen, you're going to be first, and then you're going to pick it with your friends. It's okay. We got this. We'll get it together.
Well, I understand, as I did my research on this topic, softness can mean a lot of different things from one person to the next. Some might see it as having leisure time or having a pampering session or whatnot. But for me, soft living is about like creating a lifestyle where I am being more intentional about finding ways to preserve my mental and spiritual health, because right now that is something that's very important for all of us to preserve. And so I'm choosing wisely about what I allow in my space, because some of the things that we might watch on television or some of the things that we might see on social media or the people who we allow in our lives can, definitely interrupt our peace without us even really realizing it. So I'm being more intentional about just being selective of what I allow my space and what energy I allow around me. I'm also being more intentional about prioritizing rest and not feeling guilty about it. Because I think that, in this society, being productive and being able to do 1,000 things at one time is honored more so than actually taking time to rest and reflect. And so, I'm just embracing like being restful and taking care of myself in that manner.
I think that's pretty all-encompassing because you're right. It's like trying to just really cultivate the perfect space for you to bloom. Kathleen or Crissy, did you guys have anything to add to that? Or do you feel like that's a pretty solid definition of softness and how it'll apply to your journey?
I absolutely agree with everything that Dr. Battle said. And what I'd love to add to that, I feel like softness is a synonym to self-care and self-love and what that looks like to the individual person. I also agree with Dr. Battle where she says it looks like and feels like different ways for different people. I think it depends on where we all are on our journey currently, what that might look like for us. And I would also expect as we continue to grow and evolve, that will continue to morph and change as well as we align to truly who the highest versions of ourselves are. Also, I think it is a combination of an alignment between your mind, body, soul, and spirit. What we do physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that, and doing things from a place of taking care of ourselves first before we take care of others, not feeling guilty about it and not feeling selfish. I think for me, that's where the softness comes in, because I feel as women, we tend to look after everybody else before we look after ourselves. And I think softness is where we take care of ourselves first. So we're the best version of ourselves, so then we can pour and give to others.
No, I totally agree with that. And I think that those are all, like I said, it's so all encompassing. I mean, Crissy, for you, do you feel like that also encompasses it? And then I have a question. What led you to decide that you needed to make softness a focus in your life?
So yes, both of their definitions are spot on. But I think for me, where I am in my life, I have taken that an extra step, I guess. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but because I've already, like, in my opinion, mastered like how to take care of my mental health, and I already like don't feel guilty when I, choose me first. So, but
right, one time on that.
Right. But I think now it's more of an emotionality thing. I am softer with others instead of, focusing inward. Now I focus a lot more outward. And I think what led me to that is the passing of my mom last year, like just seeing that, people fight battles that every day that they don't talk about. And so just when I am around other people, or if someone needs help, just being more open and being softer and not being so quick to, because I'm very quick to want to be argumentative with people. And so like, at least now I kind of think first and try to respond in a way that's a little bit softer. So I think for me, it's just a little bit different where I am today.
And I think that's commendable, because it's funny, like, that you say that, talking about softness as it relates to us, but then now how do we extend that back to other people? Because there is grace for those who seek it, but a lot of times, empathy is one of those things that we all have to like really try to focus on and really try to work through. So I commend you for being in that part of the journey. I'm definitely trying to lean a lot on empathy right now in my soft journey, because I find, like, for me, I have to, in order for me to take some of the stress away from myself, to want to focus on trying to fix everybody all the time. I just have to understand this person is exactly where they are right now, and there is absolutely nothing I can do to fix it. And you know what? That's okay. That's not a bad reflection of me as a person, and it's not a bad reflection of them. It's just, it is what it is, and I'm just learning how to be cool with that. For Shalonna and Kathleen, now that you're kind of like more, it sounds like, in the phase of softness, obviously for your life, has there been like any moments, now that we're kind of talking about empathy, what has been one of the toughest things that you've had to learn about yourself on the journey to embracing softness?
That I need to know when to sit down somewhere and rest. That is the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing to do, because right now, I'm working, 3 jobs, and honestly, I'm doing it because how the economy has changed. That's number one. And then I'm doing it because I'm in a phase in my life where I'm trying to figure out what I want to do long term with my career. And so I'm doing a little bit of everything right now. And, when you work multiple jobs and you have multiple tasks and responsibilities, it's very hard to slow down. It's very hard to rest. And like I mentioned before, when you do rest, you feel guilty about it because you have pending assignments and things that you need to do. And so that has been the hardest thing for me. But I am learning. I'm a work in progress. I'm learning to prioritize the things that I need to do, like the things that are very important. I have at the top of my list and I complete them. And those things that aren't so important, I just kind of lay them to the side, and I make myself, I put myself first, because if I don't take care of myself, if I don't pour into my cup, as the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I have to make sure that I'm able to pour into myself. And so this is why I'm learning to embrace the soft life a little bit more.
Wow. And especially the fact, ma'am, you're working 3 jobs. Bless your heart. I mean, that's a lot. And you're just spreading yourself. So I'm just glad that you actually find time to do this. But at the same time, I'm glad that you are learning that you sometimes have to just sit down. Because I think a lot of women need to learn that we can't be super sister save the soul for everybody.
Right.
We're not that for ourselves. So I appreciate that. What about you, Kathleen? What's one of the toughest things that you've learned about yourself on the self-care softness journey?
So I don't know if it's like the toughest thing that I've learned, but what has been very freeing and liberating for me is just walking this journey that I'm creating every day, unapologetically, and showing up in my true authority and my divinity, and not letting outside entities or forces define how I should live my life and how I should show up for myself every day. And so giving myself the grace and mercy that I need on a daily basis. Some days, sometimes on the weekends, I'm just relaxing in bed and I'm okay with that. And if things don't get done around the house, it just don't get done, because tomorrow's another day to tackle those things, and just being absolutely okay with that. And I don't equate that with being lazy. I equate that with my body needs rest. And sometimes we have to listen to our bodies on a cellular level when it says you need to relax and rest. Also, I'm unapologetic about, living a lifestyle of vacationing and traveling and shopping and going to dinners and having fun with friends and all of that. So I embrace both sides. And I think for me, the best thing has just been the liberation of, I'm going to show up for me. I'm going to show up big. And I'm not really concerned about what other people think about it.
Boom to that, ma'am.
I was going to say amen, honey, because when I told my stepmom I was going to Jamaica for a week with the girls, her first response was, well, what does Malik feel about that? And I was like, he ain't paying for it. So
right?
I do not feel guilty. He gonna sit at the house and watch the dog while I'm gone.
Right?
Absolutely. I'm sure Malik is a grown man. He can find a way to Chick-fil-A if he doesn't want to cook or whatever. There is so many food options out of the street.
Okay, I'm traveling.
Absolutely.
Do not feel bad about it. Travel, girl.
Yes, live your life. And I love the fact that you all are talking about prioritizing that, even in the midst of it. Because again, like you said earlier, as women, we always get made to feel guilty when we prioritize time for ourselves. Because I know for me, that's one of the hardest things that I've battled with outside of my ego, learning that I did not have to save everybody. Like I say that all the time. I have had to learn, because a lot of times it's ego that makes you feel like you have to save everybody and have to fix everybody. No, you can be raggedy. I don't have to be raggedy. That's the difference. And I'm just going to allow you to be that place. But I guess like Crissy, I know for you, you were saying that obviously the death of your mother led you into this journey of softness. As you've been in that journey, has there been anything that you've had to learn about yourself that has been tough?
I think more so, I think I've learned that I'm stronger than what I may feel at the time. I don't even know how to describe it. So like example, just really something real trivial. In Jamaica, my cousin and I and another girl, we were walking to the pool. It was kind of late. I was like, I just want to put my feet in. I'm just going to, sit here on the edge, put my purse and my sandals here. And she's like, I don't understand why you want to do that. You can just put your purse and your sandals on the chair back here. And I was just looked at her like, normally I would have been like, bitch. I said, what part of me putting my purse right here is messing up your mental health, ma'am? Okay, thank you. Like, just knowing that, like, I don't have to be, like, aggressive just because someone else is giving that back to me, because normally I would.
We all get a little hyper protective about our stuff.
Well, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we get super hyper protective about our energy. We get super hyper protective when people question us about, our motives and everything like that. So I commend you for not wanting to go off at that particular point in time. I totally commend you for not doing that. And that kind of makes me wonder into our next question. Do you guys feel like your healing journey, where you are on that, correlates with your ability to embrace softness?
I do. Sorry, I'm just gonna jump in again. I do, because I just had my therapy session Monday and we talked about a lot of things. And one thing my therapist kept saying, and I've been seeing her for 5 years, she's like, you have done too much work on yourself to allow someone else to come in and just with a comment or an action or something, reverse all of that. And so for me, that's why I feel like in this journey where I'm at right now, it's a little bit easier for me to be softer with people, because I know what the other side looks like, and being, in your head a lot and just dealing with a lot of things internally and not knowing how to express yourself. So just learning, I think that's why this part of being soft is just a little bit different for me, because it's I get it. I've been there, but it doesn't have to be like that.
Oh, I think that's 100% real, because you put too much work in to let somebody else's opinions distract you. So I love that. What about, I saw Kathleen, I saw the hands back there. What about you? Do you have something you want to add?
Yes, I would love just to add on to Crissy's story. And you are absolutely correct. When you wake up every day and you do the work and you're pouring into yourself high vibrational feelings and emotions such as love, peace, joy, bliss, satisfaction, appreciation. When you are filled with that, even if somebody does come and they rattle your cage a little bit, all that's going to come out is love, joy, peace, bliss, appreciation, and satisfaction, because that's what you're filled with. Now, prior to healing and stuff like that, that's where Miss Popoff will come out, because Miss Popoff had some other stuff going on in her. You know what I'm saying? But now that Miss Popoff is healed, it's okay, I'm completely unbothered by that statement. What you said has really nothing to do with me. It's a projection of what's happening with you. And I need you to go forth in your journey and your ministry, because I am unbothered. I allow people to be on their journey and be in their ministry and do what is best for them, and allow me to do what is best for me on my journey and a part of my ministry. And I think that is what really has helped me keep myself level-headed and grounded and balanced. And plus, it feels too good where I am in this space right now to allow anybody else that much power. That's a lot of power for somebody to come in and take you off of your game. A wise person told me, never let somebody trick you out of your spot. You stay grounded in where you are.
Amen. What about you, Shalonna?
I agree with both of you ladies. Because I think that self-care is definitely when you pour into yourself, you create a barrier of protection to the unpredictable things that life can throw you. If you are used to pouring love into yourself, if you are used to taking care of yourself, you're used to meditating and exercising and eating right and just really focusing on mind, body, and spirit, you're able to really overcome those unpredictable negative things that life can throw you. And one of the things that I'm learning on my journey is that prior to being on this journey, I used to let a lot of stuff stress me out. If I didn't get something done by the end of the day, I'm oh my God, I only have till tomorrow to do it. I'm freaking myself out, but I've kind of learned to talk to myself and say, you know what, Sean, it's not that serious. And if you don't get it done, it's not the end of the world. It will get done. You usually get the job done anyway. So I'm learning to coach myself that way. And I really think that my journey to softness, my journey to healing has allowed me to mature in that aspect of my life.
I love that, because I agree. That is one thing I have to admit. The journey of softness has helped me not be so stressed out. I find that I'm more stressed when I'm not following to what I know is the right way for my life. When I allow myself to slip back into those old habits because I'm trying to meet other people's expectations, that's when I have those problems. And like right now, I have had it like recently with work. I've been just like feeling like I haven't been able to accomplish anything. But then I'm like, no, the more it's like your mind will start to just race and race. And then you're stressing yourself out. And I'm making myself sick worrying about a job that would not worry about me if something went down. So it's just like, it doesn't make sense. And I have to like sit down and talk over myself when I feel those moments of anxiousness to remind myself of where I am in my life, especially right now. I'm really starting to think about this last few months of 2022. I'm getting ready to be 50 years old and I'm like so excited about it. And I am like already like thinking this next phase, this shit is personal. It's personal for me. This next journey is so personal. So I have to make sure that I am embracing all the softness and thinking about all of those things. And I love that we're so in line with that because my next question was, which I probably already know the answer to, do you feel like your friends are encouraging or supporting the journey? Or do you feel like your friends are actually falling into the journey? Because personally, I feel like all of a sudden now it's like soft life people are attracting other soft life people. And I feel like we're all just forming a group. Like, I feel like all of my friends are at that phase where they're like, child, I'm ready for the soft life and I'm trying to get it. And it's just like a unison. Do you feel the same thing happening around your friend circles as well?
Pam, I would say absolutely. And I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe that like attracts like. And people that have similar mindsets, people that have similar outlooks on life, they tend to attract one another. I also do believe in whatever we're seeking is also seeking us. And so if I'm seeking the soft life, then other people that are seeking the soft life are also seeking people like me. So I think it's just like a natural fit and connection. And those that aren't will naturally fall off if they are currently in your circle. I am not about like forcing anything or like, cutting people off at the knees or anything like that. That was pop off. Okay. Cause pop off will cut you, honey, in a second. But see, I'm not about that life anymore. Okay. Listen, that's a whole other, podcast. Okay. But I do believe that whatever vibrational capacity I'm at, I believe that I'll attract similar people and they'll light up on my LED board. I just know that that's a fact.
Oh, absolutely. Shalonna, I saw you back there too. Do you feel the same way?
I agree with the law of attraction. You attract, who you are, who you really are. That's who you will attract in your life. And I think that my friends, like all of us are around the same age, we're either in our 40s or we're approaching 40. And I think that's the time in most of our lives, where most women are trying to embrace peace and embrace softness. So I think I can agree that most of my friends are on the same path and wavelength, because I'm not letting anybody else in my space who's not, as I mentioned earlier.
Totally understand. Yes. Crissy, I see your head back there too. Do you feel that same way?
I don't really have a circle. I have like more like a triangle, but I mean, nobody that I'm close to really is, into the trend of soft life. You know what I mean? I feel like that's just one of those social media terminology. So I don't think anyone that I'm close to would know that. But I do know that there are a lot of people that I follow, a lot of women I follow that are leaning more into their softness, being more, I guess some people describe it as like being more feminine and less masculine too. So there are a lot of women that I see starting to do that.
Yes, and you're a part of our circle now, so welcome again.
Thank you.
Come on in. You're welcome. And yes, I totally agree about the embracing the feminine. I'm trying to kill my masculine energy or just calm it down some. But I need to keep it just in case I need to handle business.
Yeah,
but yes,
you got to keep it in the back pocket.
Yes, I just can't lead with it anymore. I'm trying to just calm down a little bit.
Exactly.
And knowing that we're all in this phase of trying to calm down and enjoy it, has any of you guys ever felt like the urge to change your focus on embracing softness due to the opinions of others? Or are you just pretty steadfast, like, this is what I'm doing?
I can say yes in a way because, like I said, this is a new journey for me. But when you have 3 jobs and you got 3 different supervisors, everybody wants something from you. Everybody's expecting certain things to be done. Like, I am an instructor. I'm a nursing instructor and I teach nursing students. And so, if you don't have your stuff together and you get ready to get in front of them to present, they're going to complain. Or they're going to say, oh, my teacher knows absolutely nothing. So, when I'm preparing, that is kind of like where my mind is sometimes. And so I'm working overtime just to kind of produce for my students. And I want to make sure that I'm producing good nurses into the field. So that pressure is there to perform and to make sure that things are done. But I have to also remember, that I'm only one person and I can't do it all. And if it doesn't get done, so be it. I have to remember that, so there is a little bit of a pressure if you really think about it.
And I think that's very honest to say, because especially for people who are just on the journey, myself, I'm newer to the journey too. So believe me, I feel the pressures to shift. That's why I asked, because it's so great. I think social media makes it seem like, you embrace the soft life. You're out here buying the flowers and doing all this stuff. But girl, stop lying. I know you feeling the pressure of trying to switch. It is so hard to keep your energy together. So I commend that. And believe me, if you are able to master it, I want you to tell me. So I'm definitely going to Kathleen Daniels, because Kathleen has the ability to block out. Like, literally, I have been on trips with Kathleen, and something that could bother her spirit, this girl will like zone out. It's like her whole spirit just disappears, and she will leave you in the middle of chaos. And because it disturbs her energy. So like, Kathleen, go ahead, my dear, impart your wisdom, because I know you got it.
So I think part of the soft life is also being able to embrace the ebb and flow and know when you might have to dial up the masculine energy a little bit, right, to handle things. And so I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's a yes and, where whenever the situation warrants it, then you're able to dial up whatever frequency you need to. And Pam is very correct. I take my peace and I take my energy very, very seriously. Like I tell Pam often, I just go to my happy place. Like, I'll just wander away somewhere and then all of this chaos will be happening. And I am not spiritually connected to that, right? And so I go to my happy place and I return when everything kind of settles down, because I've just worked really, really hard on getting myself into such a space where my alignment and my peace are really, really important to me. And I'm not going to jeopardize that for anybody. And also not even for myself. Like, I talk shit to myself, kind of going back to what Dr. Battle was talking about, being able to have that candid conversation with yourself, asking yourself the right questions to kind of really find your way back home. And I would be interested to hear from the group at some point, what are some other strategies you all use on this soft life journey to kind of help keep you in that ebb and flow, keep you balanced, keep you focused. So,
no, you're that's our, luckily after we get this last response from Crissy, that's our next question. Cause I definitely want y'all sharing your tools. So you're like right in the right realm. Crissy, what about you though? Do you find that it is hard to stay in the soft life mindset? Do you feel pressure to switch up sometimes?
Well, first of all, I need to travel with Kathleen because I am also one that will just disappear and y'all be like, where the hell did she go? Bye. Like, nobody got time. If I'm hungry, if I'm tired, anything, it don't even have to be chaos going on. I ain't got time. Okay. I paid for this trip too. This is my relaxation. Okay. I ain't got time. But I digress, because I just came off a girls' trip. So y'all know I'm like a little traumatized still.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, but I don't ever feel like I need to, I don't ever feel the urge to like not embrace it. I don't ever feel the urge to even explain myself, like being on a girls' trip and walking away. Like, I'm grown, I'm hungry, I'm going downstairs. I'll say, y'all sit at the table if you want to come down. Like, I don't need you to eat. You're not feeding me. So, I don't relate to that, but
that's okay though. Because like I said, it's good to have the parallel, it is good to have the parallel. And, I'm a recovering people pleaser. So that's probably why I struggle so much. We're always worrying about trying to, be lottie-dottie to everybody. And I'm trying not to be that way. But I admire that. I admire the fact that you guys can take yourselves out of it. I admire the fact, we can talk over ourselves to get us through, because those are things that I think people need to hear as they understand that, you're on a soft life journey, but you're still in the real world. You're still going to have things that are going to come up, and it's going to cause you to have to shift to make adjustments. So that does lead into like what Kathleen was mentioning, what are the things that you guys are leveraging? Like what is one thing that you do daily to keep yourself centered on your soft life journey?
Prayer and meditation. And I'm learning to journal more. I'm doing more devotion. I listen to something positive every morning before going into work. Because that centers me before I go amongst, my patients and the staff that I have to work with. Another thing is I'm learning to only focus on the things that I can control. Because I think as women, it's in our nature to worry about things and to want to be perfectionists. But I think that there will be situations that we may encounter that are not within our control. And so sometimes we can surrender to the situation, but we don't have to internalize it. So, and so I feel that worrying over things that we can't control can interrupt your peace. It can interfere with your self-worth sometimes. So, I'm making an intentional choice to just not worry about the things that I can't control.
I love that. And that's a key thing, especially with the prayer and the meditation.
Yeah.
What about you, Kathleen? What are you doing?
So I love everything that Dr. Battle just mentioned. I journal every single day. One of my favorite journals to journal in is my gratitude journal. Not a day goes by that I don't ground myself in gratitude. And I think that helps me out a lot. Also with the prayer and meditation, I do that every day as well. Also, what Dr. Battle was saying with regards to listening to something positive, I cannot express how important that fill yourself up with some sort of positive words, whether it's, devotional based or it's affirmation based or it's like a motivational speaker, just something just to fill your spirit and get you in a good space. And what I would maybe add to that would be visualization, like visualizing what I want my day to be like so that I'm not creating by default, but I'm creating on purpose. And then I have been consistent with exercise, taking 4% of my day just to move my body. It could be stretching, it could be yoga, it could be the treadmill, it could be lifting, it could be whatever. And I've shifted from trying to be like a certain size or weight or whatever, which I was super like obsessed about, like being a size, looking like this, like got to do that, to I want to feel good and I want to look good. I want my inside and my outside to match. And once those two are in alignment, then I'm good to go. So forget what the scale says, size to G, and just feel good about myself. So everything that Dr. Battle does, and then the things I just mentioned.
I love it. Yeah. And health is wealth. So I like adding that portion in. What about you, Crystal?
I exercise. That is definitely a big thing for me. And again, like Kathleen said, like, it's not about weight for me. It's just about moving. Like, you got to move your body. You got to do something. You got to get your heart bumping. I like it because it keeps my skin clear because I got that, girl, got to get that sweat out. But, what else do I do? I like the visualization that Kathleen said. That's a really good idea. I'll start doing that. But mostly I just like work out and, take my dog for a walk. Or if I'm starting to like feel like my mind wander, I'll put on some like, spiritual like music, positive music. That's pretty much all I really do. I mean, other than my regular therapy sessions that keep me.
Yeah.
Keep my head. soft.
Yes, I don't want you to box nobody, girl. Don't box nobody. Mm-mm. And I love that because I guess that's a good mix. I have to admit, I think all of those things I do. I don't do enough physical fitness, but I'm working on that. I'm working on that. I got to shift some things around. However, I also do, and prayer works. And I set a really good vibe. I have the Florida water every day because I need to keep some clearing energy around me constantly, and sage and stuff like that, and prayer, 37 Psalm every day, because I need that extra hedge of protection. And it's interesting because all of us, we're leaning into a lot of the traditional things. It's not like it's new age and funky. It's just getting back to the basics of the traditional things to really help you center yourself. Yes, ma'am.
One other thing I was going to say is I do limit my social media time now too. I started doing that because, girl, you be worried about what kind of flowers you're supposed to be buying yourself to stay with the trend and stuff. And don't nobody care what flowers you buy yourself. Just go get the one. Right.
Just get some flowers, baby. The fact that you actually got a flower, just be grateful.
You made it to the store. Good job.
Yes. Yes, and that is very true. We do not talk a lot about that because most of us are very active on social. You do have to limit it. I have parameters set during the day where if I'm on it, I'm breaking my own parameters, which is I'm gonna be mad about it at the end of the week because I watch my usage. But yeah, you got to cut some of that down because it's only a highlight reel, and some folks get caught up in highlight reels instead of the reality of things. It's interesting. I had another question, but I want to switch it up because I want to ask in a fun way. Okay, so I'm really obsessed with Beyonce's Renaissance album. I listen to it all the time. I listened to it today before I podcasted. So I want to ask each of you, because personally, I feel like she made that album for all of us as women who are on the journey to trying to embrace our softness. I really do. I can totally relate to it in so many ways. So for me right now, I think my favorite song, it's hard, so hard, but I want to ask each of you, if you were to sum up your softness journey, where you are right now in your softness journey, what song do you feel on that album kind of speaks to where you are on the softness journey? So I'm going to start you. For me, I have to admit, mine is Cozy. I'm cozy. I'm real cozy right now. I'm cozy.
Y'all saw a reel. We did a reel. Cozy.
Yeah, I have to admit, that is it. Cozy and Cuff It, because I am ready to fall in love and I'm ready to fuck some shit up. So yeah, that's probably where I am right now. I'm ready for that. So, okay, who wants to go first?
So I think my favorite song on there, I know, because every time I go back to the album, I'm going to that song and that song only most of the time, is Alien Superstar. For some reason, the beat of that song makes me want to get on a runway. It makes me want to flip my hair and vogue and do all kind of stuff and embrace my my beauty, my features and all kind of stuff. So I think, and I think that's why I like it, because it makes me feel that way. And so I don't know if this is where I am on my soft life journey, but I don't know. I just like embracing, who I am right now. So
you're a bad bitch. You're an alien superstar. I love it.
Right.
I love it. All right, Crissy, I saw the hand up like that. Where are you? Who are you?
Move out the way. I'm with my girls on these days. When the queens come from apart like the Red Sea, move out the way. Sorry.
I love it. Yes, honey, stand in all that dominant power as a woman. Yes, I love it. Yes, I love that. What about you, Miss Kathleen? Where are you?
Okay, so y'all cannot revoke my softness card, but I'm not really big.
And I should have known, child. I should have known.
Yeah, Pam. Listen, y'all. I don't really know a lot about movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So
okay,
but maybe
okay.
But
yeah, you're just church girl. We're gonna give you church girl.
Just she's church girl. And you're a church girl. Yeah, it must be the money because it ain't your face. Yeah, it has that juvenile, dirty South kind of beat to it. Twerking. Yes,
I'm doing God's work, but I'm still out here, living my life.
Yeah, I'm out here. I'm saving souls, but I'm still up in the street. I still can twerk it. I can shake it. Yes. I'm gonna give you church girl.
Oh, totally. Oh, well, that's me. So after this call, then I will get on the YouTube and look it up. Y'all can see I just aged myself. I call it the YouTube, y'all.
That's okay. And it's cool. Like I said, even if it's not, I just feel like, music sometimes, and I wanted to ask because it seems like music is like the soundtrack of our lives. Like there's always sometimes some song in certain ways. Maybe if it's not a song, it could be a book or a thought leader for you, Kathleen, that may be able to like speak to exactly where you are on this journey right now. And I think sometimes that's a lot more relatable for people to think about sometimes than the heaviness. And plus, it gives me a good indication of some of y'all personality of where you are. But obviously, our soft life journey is evolving. So what do you think the evolution of it looks like? Where now, because it's not like you're going to stay like this forever. Like I told you guys, I'm about to turn 50. I'm really excited about it. And the next decade, it's personal. The next decade is personal. I'm coming through, like, move out the way. I'm coming through, and you need to make space. So and I will be embracing softness as I come through and steamroll you through. I don't know if that works out, but for you ladies, where do you see your soft life journey? Where do you see this journey taking you? What does your evolution look like in your mind? Okay, Kathleen, I saw you come off.
Yeah, so for me, Pam, and not just only in the soft life journey, but just life in general, I want God to continue to use me to be a light as a demonstration to others that this life that you want to live is possible. Like, I am the manifestation of what that looks like. And so I want him to continue to use me, to grow me, to leverage me so that I'm pretty much like a walking billboard for what a well-done life looks like.
All right, ma'am. All right. Crystal, what about you?
My evolution of the soft life. Honestly, I don't really know, but I do hope that eventually the other women that are around me that maybe don't know about the soft life will have seen what it can do for you, what it can do for your skin, what it can do for your heart, your mind, all of that. Your marriage, your relationship, your friendships, all of that. So I'm hoping to just be a good example for others, especially women, women of color. And hopefully that will resonate in my relationship with my fiance, because Lord knows we need some prayer. But, just because he's special, that's all.
I think most men are special.
But yeah, just hoping that it just continues to evolve and grow and just becomes more than a trend or a movement, just becomes a lifestyle for everyone.
I love that. What about you, Shalonna?
Yeah, me too. I totally agree with Crystal. Like, I haven't really thought about the big picture, like where I would see myself in a few years as I go through this journey. I'm just really focusing on taking one step at a time, just mastering it one day at a time. And then I hope that eventually those steps will lead me to the things that I desire in my life. And I hope that this walk will have a positive influence on my relationships, on how I take care of my patients, on how I, just interact with people in general, and my walk and my relationship with God. I hope that it positively influences those things.
I love that. Yeah. Because it really all does go back to the center, and God is always going to be the center, and being an example to other women to show them that it's possible. You can work 8 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, have families, and be not without a family, but you still can have the best life possible. You just have to believe it, and people have to see it. So I love that each of you wants to be a manifestation of that. As we're wrapping up, because this is my last question that I will ask you, what is one thing that you would tell someone right now? Like, because there's probably people listening who are just trying to figure out, how do I get started? How do I make the decision to want to be more soft and try to change my life in a certain way? What's one thing that you would tell someone right now that they could do to help them begin on the journey? I'm going to go with Crystal.
I would say, just write down 3 things that bring you joy that you can find time to do, even if it's just one day a month. To start, just find something. Photography, painting. They have places now you can go make your own candle. Go do something. Take yourself on a date. Do something that you enjoy, or bring 1 or 2 friends that are positive people, and just do that. Just start somewhere. Do that one thing, and then take it from there. I have 1 day a month that I schedule my regular mental health day off, and that's just the day I just do whatever brings me joy. So just do that.
Love it. What about you, Kathleen?
For me, I would recommend that if someone is not quite sure where to start, I agree with everything Crissy said, but I would also find someone that could take me under their wing and be my mentor, so that they can kind of maybe show me, guide me, lead the way. For example, let's say you've never been to a luxurious spa before. There's certain etiquette, there's certain hidden rules in how you conduct yourself. And so it might be intimidating to go by yourself. You're not sure where to start, but there might be someone that has gone before you that can kind of show you, the way how to do things. And then from there, you can incorporate that into your soft life experience. I think everyone should have a mentor in some form or fashion. And I think we should all be a mentee. We should have a mentor and also have someone that we are mentoring, so that we're somewhere in the middle. You never want to be the brightest person in the room or the circle. You're not the boss, you're the target. So.
Very true. What about you, Shalonna?
I think, first of all, finding out what your why is. Why are you embracing the soft life, and what do you want out of it? Because I think once you find out the answer to those things, it basically will guide you on the steps that you'll take in order to achieve that. Because if it's peace that you want, then maybe you will look into who you're holding in your circle, what you're allowing into your space. So I just think just basically learning more about what you want out of life and why you want to embrace a soft life will kind of help guide.
I agree with all of those things, because to me, I think about it was me sitting with myself and thinking about all those things that you guys mentioned. So I always like to tell people, when you're going to start this journey, sit with yourself and get very clear about what you want to accomplish, and maybe set little goals. Don't try to cure it all. Don't try to embrace the whole thing all at one time. It could be just like you were saying, Crissy, taking a day off, or it could be like Kathleen, getting someone who will go to a spa with you if you're not comfortable, and just defining your why so that you set yourself up for success. Don't try to eat the elephant all at once. Do it one bite at a time. It'll still make you happy and you'll still be full. Just give yourself that grace to understand that you're defining your journey for yourself. That to me is the key of softness. So ladies, I want to thank you for coming on. This was a really good conversation. It went by really quick in spite of all the craziness. And I just really appreciate you guys taking the time and sharing your experiences. We can run through really quick. I'm going to have everyone's information in the show notes, but I want to invite you to share your social information so that everybody can follow you and be inspired by you. So Shalonna, I'm going to let you go first, then we're going to roll down the line.
Okay, well, I'm Dr. Shalonna Battle. You can email me at drshalonnabattle@gmail.com. I also have a podcast called the Eavesdrop Podcast, which is a women's health based podcast where we talk about everything women's health, pop culture, mental health, you name it. We talk about some of everything, but the focus is women. And then you can follow me on Instagram at @thereal_eavesdrop_podcast. And then also I'm on another podcast called Close the Curtain. And we're also on Instagram at Close the Curtain Podcast.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, and Close the Curtain is hilarious. It is really cool. All right, Ms. Kathleen Daniels, what about you?
Okay, so I'm Kathleen Daniels, and you can follow me on Instagram. My positive inspiration page where I highlight some of the things that I do for softness and fun and travel is _Keesha. It's KEESHA_D_. And then my fitness and health page and all of that is _Keesha's_journey_.
Thank you, my dear. And Crissy, why don't you give us your information and roll us on out?
Yes, ma'am. Crissy D here. You can find me on Instagram at just Crissy D. No H in Crissy, please. CRISSY. And thank you, ladies, so much for joining in with this conversation on embracing softness. Thank you, Ms. Pamela, again, for letting me go ham on your podcast this last month, and we'll continue to do so for the rest of this month.
Absolutely. Yes, we will. We have more episodes coming.
Yes, we do.
All righty then, guys. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.